Wispy, we are live on YouTube.
We are live. So, Deepak ji, Rajiv ji, we can start.
Yes, we can start. Deepak, you just give
Yeah,
first
one
the
second, sir. I'll start. Yes.
background, then I will give the overview.
Sure. So, Ujjwal, I'm starting. Good evening,
Yes, Wispy.
good evening, members and the BSE team. Welcome to the BBF webinar on the BSE circular regarding the introduction of member-level throttle limit, messages per second in the exchange trading system for the equity derivative segment. Today, we will be covering the following topics: a brief introduction to the throttle management module, an overview of member and ETI level throttle limits and messages per second, MPS management. Kindly note that the webinar flow would be by starting by presentations by the officials from team BSE, followed by an interactive Q&A sessions. On that note, I would like to extend a sincere thanks to the BSE team for their valuable time, particularly to Rajiv ji, Ojas and Deepak for their kind contributions. With that, I invite Rajiv ji and team from BSE to initiate the presentation, please. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening to all. Very good evening to all. I am sincerely thankful to the team BBF for giving us this opportunity to interact with the market participant on some latest circular issuance from the BSE. It is very important topic because this is going to impact everyone. BSE has issued a circular 3 days back regarding the throttle limit order per second message throttling on equity derivative segment. As we all know, equity derivative segment become vibrant in BSE since last year. We launched the contracts on 15th May 2023 on Sensex, then later on in mid-October over BankX. So we got the excellent participation and tremendous response from the all set of investors, traders, clients, members, pan-India, and it continuously going up. And parallelly, BSE is also enhancing, optimizing its infrastructure in terms of co-location, in terms of order capacity, trade capacity, and all related peripheral systems. But a lot of order flows are there. At some point of time, our tech team, operation teams are feeling because the order flow is very high and some unproductive orders and some orders down the line beyond 15 price point, 20 price points are increasing. So there was a need felt to check the order flow for the time being to have the bit kind of a reconciliation on the order flow, what kind of orders are coming. So it's decided to put a order throttle limit, order per second, message per second, whatever we call for the timing, and it will be continue process for the reviewing. Wherever we feel we still have more bandwidth, we will keep increasing the bandwidth and giving more throttle to the members. But as of now, it is being felt to put some checks on this. So BSE came with a circular. The circular is very much self-explanatory. So we have kept some basic 10,000 messages, 10,000 order per second, absolutely free for all. First of all, we are discussing only the equity derivative segment. It is nothing to do with the rest of the segments at BSE. Discussion is purely in perspective with the BSE equity derivative segment. 10,000 messages per second of OPS, order per second or message per second value is 10,000, is kept absolutely free for all kind of participants, irrespective of their retail, non-retail, colo, non-colo, HFT, LFT, or whatever. Beyond 10,000 messages, you need to subscribe. That means there will be certain charges for that we have kept over around rupees 10,000 for fortnightly for 1,000 messages. So all those details are available in the circular. And we have kept the fortnightly cycle for giving some kind of relaxation and variety for the market participant to choose their need. Because there are different moods in the market. Sometimes there is a lot of need of messages, sometimes there is lesser need. So instead of billing on the monthly basis, we kept in fortnightly basis, or depending upon your usage on maximum level on those 15 days. So 10,000 rupees per fortnight or monthly basis, if we sum up, it will be 20,000 rupees for 1,000 messages that you subscribe. That is much, much lesser than our competition. And we are trying to further optimize it. And for the timing, we have kept a cap of 75,000 messages per member level, firm level as a gross to begin with. That limit will be continually reviewed depending upon our load, our IT optimization, or further upcoming plans. wherever we get some more bandwidth, wherever we feel, and a lot of changes are happening in the equity derivative space itself. STT has been revised from 1st of October through to label charges, transaction charges has been deployed on a different mode by all exchanges. Further, there are a lot of announcements from the SEBI news circular came yesterday only, a day before yesterday, regarding the some paradigm shift in the equity derivative space. All those things will have significant impact, may have, may not have. Market will depend, time will depend, will tell how the things pan out. So accordingly, we will keep reviewing the limit. These are not the hard and fast limit that are fixed forever. So for the timing, we introduce such limits. 75,000 messages is the cap. So to begin with, and 10,000 are free, rest 65,000 are paid at a uniform rate of 10,000 rupees per fortnight per 1,000 messages. Billing will be done for two fortnightly separately, but billing will be done at the end of the month. These operational details, my colleague Deepak will explain how it will be done. The most important part for the members in this entire discussion is need to understand the operational applicability, how to do that, because tomorrow is the last day. Applicability from the Monday 7th of October will be the first trading day when these throttle limits will be applicable. For that, tomorrow is the last day. 3:30 is the cutoff time to members to upload the file, where you need to mention your session wise ID wise ETI ID or session whatever you call it, to give the limit session wise total whatever you want to have up to 75,000. You need to assign values ID wise. You need to first download the file from the exchange portal. The path has been given in the circular. You will download the file download. Once done, automatically by default value of 100 per session ID or per user ID or per ETI ID is given. Our terminology is ETI ID or session ID. 100 is the default value given by the exchange against each ID. Now member can change that, rectify that according to their use and their preference. Fill the values. Members are supposed to touch only that column. They are not supposed to touch any of the other column where session ID is mentioned, category LF, category HF, category of any other detail, member clearing number. Last column need to be edited and filled as per the value you want. All the column to be filled. Nothing can be left blank. No header is needed in that file, and no value should fall without the limit prescribed as per the circular. We have giving the option of 10 messages, 50, 100, 250, 500, 750, 1000, 1250, 1500, 1750, and 2000. So various kind of denominations are it's been mentioned in the circular. You need to put some value within that, either 10, 50, 100, 250, 500, 1000, and up to 2000. There are various. You cannot put any other odd figure, then entire file will be rejected. Once you upload the file, if you are putting some awkward figure, some other figure, 999, or anything else which is not in the given denomination, the entire file will be rejected. You cannot also leave the column blank. If let's say I have 100 IDs, I want to use only 90 and I want to give entire my limit to these 90. Rest 10 I cannot leave blank. So minimum 10 you can assign there. All values need to be filled. Wherever you don't need to use, fill only 10 as a value. If you still feel this 10 is a wastage for me, I don't need. So within a day or two, you apply for the cancellation of such IDs. So don't carry such IDs if you don't need it at all. If you feel at times in rotation, some dealer, some trader, some investor may need that, to give some minimum value of 10 in all those IDs. Value cannot be left blank. Value cannot be in the any odd figure. There should be no header in the file. Nothing in the file format to be touched other than the value in the last column. And file to be uploaded in the prescribed path given in the circular. Multiple files can be uploaded. Latest information per ID will be taken by the systems, our systems. All those limit will be applicable for Monday trading part. And these are the brief things, and more operational details as per PPT and the circular, my colleague Deepak will explain further. Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am audible. So thank you very much, sir. So now I will run you through the presentation. Operational aspect I will cover. So first of all, as you know, exchange issued a circular on 30th of September last week regarding implementation of member level and ETI level throttle limit. So basically, member level charges are mentioned in this slide, wherein you can see on the top 10,000 messages per second is free of cost at member level. So there is no charge applicable for members who are opting for the messages per second within that 10,000 level. It will be absolutely free of cost. Any member who is crossing 10,000 messages per second limit, he will have to pay as per his allocation at ETI ID level and member level, 10,000 rupees for 15 days for per 1,000 messages per second availed by the member. So this calculation of per 15 days period will be done twice in a month. So for example, if we talk about the month of October, then the first day on which this circular is getting implemented is 7th of October. So from 1st to 15th of October, there will be a period for which the charge will be applicable. And from 16th to end of the month, the charges will be applicable. So there will be 2 periods for which the charges will be applicable. Both periods charge will be accumulated at the end of the month, and billing will be done once in a month for both billing cycles. Now, this facility which is provided in UCC portal is available for members to revise the allocation at any point of time, any day. If you do the same by 3:30, the same will be applicable from next day. Now, the highest value of allocation will be taken for billing purpose at end of the 15-day period. So between that 15-day period, whatever values at member level you have assigned, we will pick the highest value. And on that basis, the charges will be applicable. For billing purpose, the values will be rounded down to the nearest 1,000 multiple. So suppose you have allocated a total of 20,600 messages across all your ETI IDs. So 20,600 means we will round it down to 20,000, out of which 10,000 will be free and 10,000 additional, which is 20,000 minus 10,000 will be applicable for the charges purpose. Now, this is the file format in the left-hand side, first table. This is the file format in which there are 5 columns. First column is serial number. Second column is member code. Third column is session ID. Fourth column is session type. And fifth column is throttle limit. So in session ID column, if you see, last 4 digit is your ETI ID. Last 4 digit is your ETI ID in the session ID. The total digit in session ID field will be 9 digits. So you will have to check the last 3 or 4 digit. That is your actual exchange ETI ID. So against all ETI IDs, exchange will assign a default 100 messages per second limit at ETI ID level. Member will have to check the file, and they will have to check the assignment at each ETI ID level. And wherever you feel that there is a requirement of higher message per second, you will have to manually change in the last column and save the file and upload the same in the UCC portal. In the next slide, I will show you how, the front end of UCC portal through which you can upload the file. Next, now the allocation should also be done in the predefined denominations. In the right hand side, we have shown the denomination. This is also available in the exchange notice. So the minimum value which you can assign against any of the ID is 10, and the maximum value is 2,000. And between that, there are multiple denominations which you can select and opt for allocation. In case you don't put any value out of above values, then the file that record in the file will get rejected, and you will get a rejection reason in the file upload section basically. And then suppose you are uploading the file for 10 records. Out of 10 record, suppose you have put the correct value against 8 record, and 2 records you have put the wrong value, then 2 records will be rejected, 8 records will be accepted. Please remember that on the first day, that is tomorrow, for 7th of October, tomorrow is the last date to upload the MPS values against each ETI ID. So tomorrow, that is Friday, 3:30 is the cutoff time by which members will have to upload the ETI ID level limit. Latest updated value tomorrow 3:30 p.m. will be taken for assignment. In case of failure, suppose member does not change the values, that is exchange automatically allot 100 message per second against each ETI ID. The cutoff time after first day, that is tomorrow, the cutoff time again will be 3:30 for revision, upward or downward revision against ETI IDs. Every day 3:30 will be the cutoff time. Whatever values will be available in UCC portal at the 3:30 p.m. every day, that value will be taken for allocation of message per second against each ETI ID on the next day. Now, please remember that at member level, the total value cannot exceed 75,000 messages per member per second. So maximum a member can use is 75,000 messages across all the allotted ETI IDs. This is the user interface of UCC portal. In UCC portal, please log in ucc.bseindia.com. On the top, you see there are multiple menus of UCC registration, location ID registration. In the same line, you can see throttle limit management option. In throttle limit management option, you will get EQD-throttle limit bulk upload option. Click on that option. Then you can see the window which is provided in the bottom of the page. In this window, you can see first you will have to click on download all session IDs data. So once the member downloads all session ID data, he gets all the ETI ID details of the equity derivative segment with the values in the last column as 100. Now 100 is the exchange assigned default message per second limit against each ETI ID. Member will have to replace wherever required and assign member's own ETI ID limit between 10 to 2000. Save the file, and there is an upload section available. Choose the file and upload the same. Once you upload the file, below you can see the success and failure count. So you can see here there are multiple examples available. The records have been uploaded, and success count, failure count, total count, processed, then response file. Everything is available with time. At whatever time you have uploaded, that will be available in the column. So you can check the error in the same file. And if required, you can also upload the revised file. I have mentioned some of the examples for better understanding of the members. So suppose member A has availed a total of 100 exchange ETI IDs. So in case of first example, if you can see here, member does not assign any limit in any of the 100 IDs. Now exchange will automatically assign 100 message per second. And in this case, the total message per second availed by member will be 10,000 because 100 IDs you have availed. 100 is the assigned limit. So 100 into 100 is equal to 10,000. So in this case, because the up to 10,000 at member level is free of cost, there is no charge for that. So member will not be billed for this limit of up to 10,000. In the second example, here again member has availed 100 ETI IDs. Out of this 100 ETI IDs, he has given 1000 messages per second to 10 IDs, 500 messages each for 5 IDs, and he has kept 85 IDs unassigned. When I'm saying unassigned, there is always 100 message per second assigned by the exchange against these 85 IDs. So the total in this case, total throttle availed by the member is 21,000. Out of 21,000, 10,000 will be free. So total applicable throttle at which the exchange will start billing will be 10,000. So for a 11,000. So for a 15-day period, 11,000, 11 will get multiplied by 10,000. So total will be 1,10,000 rupees for 15-day period. In example 3, member has availed 100 IDs again. He has assigned 1,500 messages per second for 10 IDs, 1,000 messages for 5 IDs, and 500 messages for 3 IDs, and he has kept 82 IDs unassigned. Your member has availed a total of 29,700. So 700 will get rounded off to the nearest, rounded down to the nearest 29,000. So here the applicable total usage, total assigned value against the member will be 29,000, out of which 10,000 is free. So 19,000 will be billable, and on 19,000, total of 1,90,000 member will have to pay for the 15-day period. Example 4 is very important. Here, member changes the value within 15 days period. So here, first you allocate 33,500, and on second day you change the value to 38,700. So here we will pick the 38,700 value because that is the highest case. So here out of 38,700, 10,000 is free. So on 28,700, that is 28,000 rounded down to the nearest 1,000 multiple, your member will be charged 2,80,000 for a 15-day period. In case 5, the member again has 100 ETI IDs and he tries to upload 100 each for 100 ETI IDs. So 100 into 100 becomes 1 lakh. 1 lakh is higher than 75,000. So in this case, member will not be able to upload the file. He will get an error that the total message per second allocated again across all ETI IDs exceeds 75,000 limit. So he will have to again revise the limits in the last column and then upload the file. So this is how this system will work. Every 15 days, exchange will give the opportunity to members to, revise. And actually, the revision member will have the option of revision every day, but the highest of the 15 days period will be taken into consideration for billing purpose. So before 15th day, that is the cycle between 1 to 15 and 16 to 30, you can change the value and that will be applicable for next fortnight. Thank you very much for this. If you have any query, you can ask your query through the chat window. Thank you very much. Yunus, do we have any query in the chat box?
Yes, sir. Deepak ji, there are few questions in the chat box. Around 10 questions we have received as of now. So, one second. See, there is a question, maximum message per second per ID is what? Can we select more than 2,000 in one ID? Hi, Deepak ji.
Yeah, Yunus, tell me.
There is a question in the chat box. Maximum message per second per ID is what? Can we select more than 2,000 in one ID?
No. So it is clearly mentioned in the circular. The lowest denomination is 10 and the highest denomination is 2,000. Between those denominations, there are multiple denominations. So out of this denomination, any one of the denomination can be selected by the member. Other than that, no option is available.
Okay, there is a second question. Member default assigned with 100 message per second. Does charges apply to member if order crosses 100 or 1,000?
10,000 cross here. Once the allocated message per second across all the IDs exceeds 10,000, then only the charges starts. If it is within 10,000, then there is no charge at all.
But without even on default values.
Yes,
200
if someone has more than 100 IDs, okay, and he doesn't do any changes in the message per second, then 100 IDs, more than 100 IDs means 100 will be allotted by the exchange against each ETI IDs. So means it exceeds the 10,000 limit automatically without any changes made by the member. Also, it exceeds 10,000 limit. So member will have to take care of it, because once the total limit exceeds exchange free limit of exchange, then a member will be charged.
Okay. There's a question. Should we delete EG row?
Can you repeat once again?
Should we delete E.G row? EG row?
No need to delete.
Okay.
I would like to clarify on that. The exchange has given a standard format where you will download the data and it will show all your ETI IDs and will also give a type of frequency, that is HF or LF. And in the corresponding field, the throttle values are also being mentioned default by the exchange as 100. From the member side, member just needs to assign the throttle values without changing any content, the ETID or the HF or LF type. You should not touch anything. Only the throttle values needs to be adjusted by the member based on its requirement and re-upload the file without the header. So keep that in mind. No header has to be put in the file. No edit has to be done in terms of the ETI ID number or the frequency type, that is HF or LF. If you try to make any changes in that file, it will not allow you to proceed further, and the system will also not make the needful changes. So ensure to only change the throttle values against respective ETI IDs. The cumulative value of all the ETI IDs will be taken into consideration for the billing purpose. In that case, if you do not change any values, as my colleague Deepak has explained, even if you don't make any changes in the ETID throttle, the exchange will by default assign the value of 100 against each ETI ID. In case the cumulative value of the ETI IDs exceeds 10,000 value, then the billing will be done for the incremental messages beyond 10,000. So we request the members to keep this in mind and make the needful changes in the throttle numbers. So we have got one query. The question is, what is the cost for each MPS? 10, 50, 100 and so on, the frequency as we mentioned. Uh, there is no cost as such for this messages. Only if your cumulative message count at the member level exceeds 10,000, then only the charges will be applicable. There is no specific charges for selection of the denomination of the throttle against the respective ETI IDs. The second question is, if you are using in a month only 8 days, how charges will be applicable? As my colleague Deepak has explained in detail, the billing period will be the first 15 days of the calendar month. That is from first of the every calendar month to 15th, and the second billing cycle will be from 16th to the end of the month. So the peak value of each of these cycle will be taken into consideration for arriving the billing numbers. For example, to make it amply clear, you have chosen a value of say 15,000 on 2nd of November. On 10th of November, you increase it to 25,000, and on probably say 13th of November, you reduce it to 11,000. In this case, for the entire billing period of 15 days, the peak value of this duration of 15 days, which was 25,000 in this case, will be taken into consideration for arriving the billing numbers. The peak value will be taken into consideration for billing purpose, and it's not a day-wise usage as the questions has been asked. The third question is, if we cross 75,000, what will be the impact on the trading systems? Uh, the system has been kept at 75,000. If you try to upload a file which is having a cumulative count of more than 75,000, your file will get rejected and your file will not be uploaded in this case. And therefore, the respective throttle values which you inserted earlier, that will also be not be captured. So we request to keep the count as below 75,000, not beyond 75,000, else the file will be rejected. One important point I would like to highlight for this upload of file. For example, you have 200 IDs at the member level, ETI IDs at the member level. As of now, probably due to the time lapse scenario, probably you have got the data of 50 IDs while you have not received the data of balance 150 IDs. In such a scenario, you can make the changes of 50 IDs as per the requirement, while the rest 150 IDs, you can keep it as the bare minimum of 10 multiple. So you can put 10 as the multiplier for rest of 150 IDs or whatever is your requirement. As and when you keep on getting the new numbers for the balance IDs, you can keep on adding the incremental file. So what will happen in this case is, the first 50 data has already been uploaded in the system. Say next 50 data you have received up till now. So that data is also uploaded at the exchange level. Only the balance 100 IDs data is pending at the exchange level. So to summarize and make it simpler, the updated data at each ETID level will be taken into consideration. So last update value of each of the ID will be taken into consideration. Against a specific ETID, you can do n number of modification. The exchange will take the last updated value into reference when it will fetch the file. So keep that in mind while uploading that data. So you need not wait for the entire data to come and then you feel and try to put the values at the last moment. You can keep on updating the file as and when you keep on receiving the data. We've got a message, you got one query. The query is related to segregation of the ETI IDs and throttle across the trading type like institution, proprietary trading, etc. or not. So the answer is, the billing will be aggregated at the member level irrespective of any type of a trading profile. So the cumulative value at the member level will be taken into consideration for billing purpose. One message is, does MPS include order and trade confirmations too? Yes, MPS is a message type and it's not an order. It is a message type. So message type includes new order, modifications, and cancellation, all type of order requests, including the login request as well. So the login request which you place, that is also a message. We got one query that they have 105 ETI IDs and have allotted 1,000 messages for every ETI ID. What will happen in this case? As explained earlier, since the cumulative count exceeds 75,000, the file will get rejected. It will not get uploaded. So keep that in mind and ensure that the file has a success message. We've got one request to re-clarify on the billing cycle. I will explain it again. We have splitted the billing cycle into two parts, from 1st of calendar month to 15th of the calendar month. That is one cycle. The second cycle is from 16th to the end of the calendar month. So in this case, the peak value of each of these billing cycle will be taken into consideration for the billing purpose. As explained in the example as well, you may have some varied throttle limits for each of these days during this specific cycle, the peak value shall be taken into consideration for the billing purpose. So one query is today if we upload two wrong record out of 10 record, then when can we know the status of wrong uploaded record? So that will be on immediate basis. Whatever records you upload in the system will, first thing is system will show you the success or rejection status. If it shows you the rejection status, it will show you each of the record in which the numbers have been wrongly inputted. That could be due to varied reasons, including selecting the wrong denomination or keeping the value as blank. Uh, Exchange will show you ETID wise records of rejection. It will show you message as well. One important clarification I would like to give is, even for admin IDs like 0 terminal or 200 terminal, that also you can assign, I mean, you are required to assign some value. The value could be as low as 10 or based on your requirement, but you need to assign value to the admin IDs as well. That will automatically pop up in your system when you download the file. The query is, suppose we have 20 ETIDs allotted to us, out of which we use only 5 IDs, then file should contain only 5 IDs record or total 20 records. The answer is you need to upload the data, the throttle values for each of your 20 IDs. For the 5 IDs on which you are actively trading, you can assign the values as per your requirement. For the balance 15 IDs, you can assign a minimum value of 10 or 100 or whatever based on the multiplier which we given the denomination. But all 20 IDs data needs to be compulsory be mentioned in the file. The question is, if you want to change the throttle limit of one particular ETI ID and not all, do we need to upload the full file or file with only one ETI ID which needs to be modified? The answer is, Exchange will keep on updating ETI ID wise records. For the specific ETI ID, one specific ETI ID which you need to make changes, you can upload the file with change in that specific ID. The Exchange will update the record of that file only. The rest data will be continued as per the earlier submitted data. The question is, how do we increase the message per second for equity segment ETIDs? The answer is, this throttle message functioning is applicable only for equity derivative segment. In equity cash segment, the default throttle limits are already available as per the exchange circular which has been issued from time to time. You can refer the exchange circular for equity segment, but in the current context, it is only made applicable for the derivative segment. ETI ID definition. So basically, you call it user ID, you call it session ID or ETI ID. From the exchange terminology, it is enhanced trading interface, which is ETI ID. You can refer to us for a simple nomenclature. Probably you can use the word as a trader ID, which you get assigned from the exchange. The question is, if any ETI ID value which they have set for, if it exceeds that messages, what will happen? From the exchange side, the throttle messaging will be capped to the numbers which has been inputted by the member. So that needs to be kept in mind. The question is, how do we know if the total messages exceeds 10,000? To start with, there is no option of subscribing to a specific message criteria from at the member level. The total message count will be cumulated across ETIDs which you have set. The total number will be taken into consideration for billing purpose. In case you don't put any values against each of these IDs, the default value which is being set by the exchange as 100 will continue. In case there is a scenario where the total message count exceeds 10,000, in this case, the billing will be applicable on the incremental count. So the cumulative value of the throttle messages across UTI IDs should be taken into consideration. The question is, a few IDs are spare IDs and we do not use these IDs. Can we make it to 0 as the message count? The answer is there is no provision of 0 count. The minimum value available is 10 and the other denominations are given, but the minimum denomination is 10. In case you feel that the ID is of no use to you, you can place the ID surrender request to our trading ops department by sending email to user.trdops@bsindia.com, where you can request for the ID cancellation and that IDs can be cancelled. The question is, how do I ascertain the current utilization of each of these ETIDs so that I can plan my message per second accordingly? So at the member level, the member will obviously be having some track of the count of orders which are being sent by that specific user. So the member can do some backtesting of the order requirement based on their average utilization per second and probably some peak utilization per second, and can assign the values accordingly. So that's a subjective call that a member can take in consultation with the trader or the dealer. The question is, what if we cross 10,000 message per second, then the charges is applicable for 15 days or 30 days? The answer is, if you cross 10,000, for every 1,000 messages incremental, you'll be charged 10,000 rupees for a period of 15 days. So every incremental 1,000 message, you'll be charged 10,000 for a 15-day period. The question is, what if we set a cumulative value which is lesser than 10,000? What will happen in this case? This is purely subjective. Exchange from its side is offering a free throttle count of 10,000 messages. You can keep to whatever low count you may want to. If it exceeds 10,000, then appropriate billing will be done in a 15-day billing cycle. What is the cutoff time for uploading the files? On a daily basis, the new ETI ID creation time will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. New ID request will not be entertained post 2 o'clock. 3:30 will be the cutoff time for assigning the throttle values to the ETI IDs. In case a new ETI ID is created, the cutoff time, as I said, is 2 p.m. That the specific new ID will get reflected in your system on a real-time basis after the cutoff time, and throttle value from your side. Voice audible. So you can assign the value of whatever you want to assign to the specific ID. In case you do not assign any value, the default message, the default throttle for that newly created ID will be 100 in this case. In case you have reached a cap criteria of 75,000 message at the member level, and if you place the request for new ETID creation, in such a scenario, your request will not be entertained until you reduce your overall throttle usage to below 75,000 based on the number of IDs request which you have placed. So one more question is, what if the overall message count exceeds 75,000? So again, I'm reclarifying. The exchange will keep a cap of 75,000 at the member level, while individual ETID level throttle will be assigned based on the member's request or a default value set by the exchange. So in no possibility it can exceed 75,000. The throttle messaging is only for equity derivative segment and not for cash segment. So let's not mix with cash segment in this scenario. For the values which you have set against each respective ETID, the exchange will only cap it from its side and practically will not be able to place orders per second beyond the specified or assigned throttle values. The minimum throttle, as we discussed, the minimum message count which is being provided by the exchange in terms of the denomination is 10 message per ETID and the maximum value is 2000. One question is about the possibility of intraday revision. So we would like to clarify that whatever changes you make before 3:30 p.m. that will be taken into consideration for the next working day. So whatever changes you are making before 3:30 p.m. on a working day, that will be taken into consideration for the next working day. The values which you change on a public holiday or weekend, that value will be taken into consideration only the next day at 3:30 p.m. with effective from the subsequent day. So only working day data will be taken into consideration before the cutoff time of 3:30 to make it applicable the next trading day. I think we have covered practically most of the queries. In case anyone has further queries, they can reach out to their relationship manager for seeking clarification on each of them. I would like to reiterate that we are moving to this new mechanism effective coming Monday, that is October 7. The cutoff time to avail the ETI device throttle messaging is Friday 3:30 p.m. That is tomorrow 3:30 p.m. Post 3:30 p.m. the value whichever you inserted will not make any importance, because that will not be considered for Monday and will be considered for Tuesday. So we request all the members to not wait for the last day and enter the requirements from uh, right now until tomorrow 3:30. Post this, you can keep on changing the ETID wise throttle messages on a daily basis if you wish to, prior to 3:30 p.m. cutoff, with applicability from next working day.
This is it from our side. Eunice, now you may take.
Okay, so thank you so much, Deepak ji. Thank you so much. I think if all the questions are answered, so Deepak ji, should we conclude then?
Yes. So before concluding the session, I thank all the market participants for attending today's session, and thank you very much to the BSE Brokers Forum for keeping this session in such a short notice. And I request again to all the member to upload the data as soon as possible using bulk file upload facility in UCC portal. In case of any query, you may reach out to your relationship managers. Thank you very much from BSE side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji and the entire BSE team and the respective dignitaries and speakers for giving us such important information about the circular and all the information to our members. So on behalf of BBF, we truly appreciate and we thank all the speakers. Thank you so much, and all the participants also. We truly appreciate for attending the session on a very short notice. So thank you so much, everyone, and I hope for in case of any queries or something, you can always reach out to us and BSC team also. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much.